Hey everyone, I'm really excited to see you guys. I've gotten all of this new music that I can play for you guys, but trying to play it at home is really lonely, so I want to party with you guys at youth group. It's not gonna be much longer, we're gonna make it. Now, today we're just going to take a brief look at something that happens to Paul in Athens. Now, this is a bit different from many of the other stories in Acts for two reasons. First, there isn't a church in Athens, and Paul didn't really seek this city out. He didn't feel called to go here. He's just kind of finds himself there along his journey. Second, he preaches the gospel and people are actually receptive to it. He doesn't get arrested. He doesn't get kicked out of town. He doesn't get thrown in jail. Persecution isn't part of spreading the gospel in this city. So let's go ahead and look at this passage. This is going to be Acts 17:16 through 21. Now while Paul was waiting for them at Athens, his spirit was provoked within him as he saw that the city was full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and the devout persons, and in the marketplace every day with those who happened to be there. Some of the Epicurean and Stoic philosophers also conversed with him. And some said, "What does this babbler wish to say?" Others said, "He seems to be a preacher of foreign divinities, because he was preaching Jesus and the resurrection." And they took him and brought him to Areopagus, saying, "May we know what this new teaching is that you are presenting? For you bring some strange things to our ears. We wish to know, therefore, what these things mean." Now all the Athenians and the foreigners who lived there would spend their time in nothing except telling or hearing something new. So this is a little different from many of the stories in Acts, like I said. Paul is just waiting for Silas and Timothy to come join him in Athens. He's not planting a church. He didn't come here with a clear calling to speak, but he looks around and sees a bunch of idols and he's troubled. His mind is on God, and when his mind is on God, he sees things in a different way. Now, I haven't been to Athens, but it's one of those places that you see a lot of pictures from, right? There's all sorts of amazing buildings and statues. It's really a beautiful place in terms of architecture and art. Yet, what we see as cool buildings and statues, these people were using as idols. They were actually worshiping different gods in these places, and the statues that we think are really cool were ways to worship different people or gods. Paul sees this, and so he goes to the places where people are because he wants to talk about what he believes in comparison to all these idols. So he goes to the synagogue and the marketplace and just starts talking with people. And at first they're a little put off and they sort of mock him by saying he's a little crazy with his whole foreign divinities thing. But the people of Athens are intellects. They want to understand things and different points of view, and so they listen to Paul and they want to understand what it is that he's preaching. Now, circumstances like this are rare in Acts, where Paul or another apostle go preach in public and everyone's like, "Hey, this guy sounds interesting, we should listen to him." Normally the gospel might spread in some way, but the leaders would come out and take Paul away for stirring things up. But as Paul was just waiting in Athens, God swung the doors wide open for the gospel to come in. Paul is able to, throughout the rest of Acts 17, preach the gospel in a way that we don't see laid out in Acts very many times. Sometimes all we need to do is be in the right place at the right time and have God on our minds. The doors can swing wide open in areas that we don't anticipate. Surely there are times where we will face persecution, but this passage is in our Bibles to show us that sometimes people are really receptive to the gospel. This really goes to show all the more reason we can trust God and find joy in the gospel. Sometimes the joy and love that we have for God and the promises that He has made isn't met with resistance, but people hear those things as we share them with them, and they eagerly want to know more. I really hope you can watch and enjoy the next video, as Trent is going to unpack the sermon that Paul preaches in this context. And I hope you find encouragement in this story of Paul's preaching going smoothly and being received eagerly. Looking forward to seeing you guys soon.